All right, there we go. Some nice relaxing music to get us going today. It's 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes, I guess it is, until 3 a.m. New York time or until London Open. It's early in the morning here. I've been up since 1:20 a.m. this morning. It's just the way I'm wired. I get up early every day, and the rest of the world around here is pretty much still very much asleep. Some people have not even gone to bed yet, of course. It is Tuesday morning, Tuesday, November the 8th. These are interesting times in which we're living. It's going to be an interesting day, I believe, just based on the way the charts are setting up here. Looking at the NASDAQ today, of course, for those who are familiar with how we do things. I want to thank you for joining us today. It's going to be interesting, as I mentioned. No major news events today, from what I can see. A lot of medium impact folders today, but we do have midterm elections in the U.S., and that could bring all kinds of volatility given the, let's call it unrest in the U.S. right now between political factions. And we don't talk about politics here at all. And in our group, a Telegram group, which is free for you to join if you are like-minded, looking to learn, looking to share. It's Zerillion Trading at Telegram. Come on over. We've only been open for about 3.5 weeks, I think it is now. Maybe closer to 4 weeks. I think we're up to about 140 members now. Great vibe. Everybody is just awesome. Haven't had to ban anybody yet. I'm sure that will happen at some point, but I'm not anticipating it. But it's just incredible. We have a great vibe. People just sharing, wanting to learn. I come in every day with a beginner's mind, as you hear me say, and even though I'm in my 4th decade of trading now, 25 years as a technical analyst, 23 years as a chartered market technician, former certified or current certified practitioner of neurolinguistic programming for over 25 years, closer to 30 now, and just been really engrossed in this whole trading world and the world of asset management at a high level and in finance for many years, long career. And just here to share. Everything we do is free. We don't charge for anything. Just for the sharing for the love of the game, building a community. And I'm always looking to learn as well. Watching these markets now. We're not open yet, but we will be in about 15 seconds. We're 15 seconds from the London Open. We have a 10-minute chart of the NASDAQ on the left, and we have a 1-minute chart of the NASDAQ on the right. And that's about it. Keep it pretty simple here. Didn't always do that. I used to have 10, 11, 12 indicators on my chart at one time. That's no longer the case. Looking for prices here to drive down. I'm not taking anything now. In my previous life, I would have been jumping in all over this stuff, but I'm not going to. Here, I would like to teach and also just expand upon and expound upon the idea of waiting for this first candle to close and do its thing most of the time to see what the market is going to show us, giving us a little bit of direction here. The only other screen we will look at today here on this stream, this is actually a recorded stream. We've moved away from the live streams for now, just based on feedback from the group, and people have to focus on their own trading. So I'm recording these, I'm just putting them up and letting people see the way I handle these opens. Bear with me 1 moment. I'm just going to open up my own platform here. Probably should have had that open already, but lots to do here, managing the group early in the morning. And feeding my cat and making sure my family's good and still sleeping and all that good stuff. Bear with me. All right. Just watching now as markets open. Very much open here in London, and I'm going to take you down to the Sisters Grid. This is the only other screen we'll be looking at here today. Is the Four Sisters. I call this the Four Sisters. These are 4 indices. The NASDAQ is the one we're trading, is on the far left. Then beside that to the right is the Dow. Then we have the S&P to the right of that, and finally the DAX, the German index, on the far right. And you'll see that these indices are all basically doing the same thing. And that's often what we see. There's a very tight correlation between these, but that does change some days, and then we get important clues. That little blue dash that you see there is actually a blue horizontal line. It will move out to the right as candles are printed. That is the London Open. And you can see that we have synchronicity, congruency amongst all 3 or 4 of these indices. Right there, you see that. between the Nasdaq trading below the 20 EMA and the open. 20 EMA here on the Dow, 20 EMA, 20 EMA on the DAX. So they're all basically doing the same thing. If we see divergence, we can garner some important clues as to what may happen next and decide which one is leading, which one is following, which ones are following, and then get some clues about price action from there. But we're going to spend most of our time here on this chart. You'll see a breakdown now into that zone. Now, early this morning, I actually did a little bit of mapping here on my charts. You'll see support and resistance areas. Very simple stuff. And I believe in simplicity. What we stand for here in Xerillion is simplifying the complex world of trading. Getting back to first principles. And I can make this as complicated as you want. I have a long history in things like chaos theory and fractal geometry, Mandelbrot theory, Elliott wave theory, just about every indicator you can possibly imagine, oscillators and histograms and diagonal patterns and everything you can imagine from technical analysis. And I was a fundamental analyst before that and can really make things super complicated, but I don't anymore. I teach a very simplistic way of approaching the markets, and you're looking at it, basically naked charts with some support and resistance zones. These arrows are to show areas where I believe that prices will tend to flow freely given clean traffic to the left. And you can see that there on the 10-minute chart and how prices are already beginning to break down and move freely into this area, right? No trade for me yet. You might have one based on your method, and that's just fine. But we're going to wait for this 10-minute candle to close here. Give me one moment. Now, I do have a model that does take advantage of these moves, and it's not the one that I'm trading today. Bear with me. Just flipping over to my platform, making sure I'm all set up and ready to take advantage of anything that we might see here. All right. Watching closely now as things begin to play out here. Just looking at the candles. Looking at that 1 minute forming, you may see this breakdown now a little bit here. Right from there, take us down to the next level of structure. You see how we're forming just sort of a little consolidation there. I expect that this could drive down from there, given that we have this area of clean traffic on the 10-minute chart. You see this whole area here. It could also reject, and this is what we see in the first 10 minutes. This is what I've used as my opening range. And it will look something like this when all is said and done. See that there? You'll watch this expand now as we move through this candle. We still have 4 minutes left in the opening 10-minute candle. This is setting the open range for me. You see this is rejecting up again. I'm going to take these markers out. Actually, I don't want to confuse you here or make things messy for this opening flurry of activity. And that's what we see, of course, on the opens, London and New York. New York is often a very serious flurry of activity. London's a little more muted most of the time. Of course, we are trading the NAS this morning. People ask me, well, why are you trading the NASDAQ index in the London session? I mean, it's a U.S. index, and it's true. But I'm trading futures. It's a very efficient market now. Tight spreads on my broker. Some people have much broader spreads. But I'm happy to flip over to the NAS, and we can trade that, or the FTSE. Or the DAX, pardon me. I meant the DAX, not the NAS. I'm happy to move over to the DAX, the German index, given that the German market is now open. The U.S. market, of course, is not open for many more hours. 6.5 more hours, 6 hours and 20 minutes, right? But I have no problem trading U.S. futures in these early hours. I mean, you'll see the correlation is very high between what's happening in the FTSE and the DAX and these U.S. indices here on the futures world, or in the futures world. See that correlation? DAX DAX is open. These are not. But look what's happening, right? Same thing. All right, we may get that breakdown now that we saw on the 1 minute chart. After we pulled back, whoops, let me bring you back to the right screen here. Let's pull back to the 20, little test. This might drive down now, but again, nothing from me for the next 2 minutes at the very least. And the reason I say 2 minutes is because this 10-minute candle is still open, and it's got 2 minutes left in it, right? "34 seconds left. Here we go, guys. Now notice how this range, we started at the top of the range. We went all the way down to the bottom of this range, of course, creating the range. And now we're basically more or less center of the range. And this is what we see on London, and why I don't just randomly jump into positions, given what looks like, in this case, a drive down into open air, right? This arrow, by the way, is not a prediction. It's just an indicator of where prices may flow freely from where they are to the next level, if they desire, if they choose to. 1 second left, dead center of the range, and this is the open range now. See that middle point? And now a new candle now opens. Frozen. And there. Interesting. My platform froze for a second. That doesn't usually happen on TradingView. Occasionally it does. So there's the new candle. We're 30 seconds into it. And now we're going to watch. Now for me, if prices remain in this opening range, which has been set by the 10-minute candle, I didn't even have to adjust it. I mean, basically the open range, the opening of this opening candle was the range, right? Up, down, and then all just kind of dancing around in the middle. So unless prices get out of this open range, I'm not even interested in taking a trade, because it means that we are range bound, right? This is what we saw yesterday, by the way, in New York. You see this here? The New York session is this color you see behind here. This was the opening candle. It was a very big opening candle. It looked like this. It looked like this here. And you'll see prices didn't actually break out until 2:10, 2:15, 2:20 in the afternoon, right? Range bound entire session. And there were many traders who tried to trade in here and didn't do very well yesterday. It was a very grinding day, and if you watched FinTwit or Twitter and all the traders complaining about being taken in and out of positions, that was the case. And I said to my Telegram group, be careful today, guys. This is a range-bound market, and trying to trade in a range is like trying to squeeze water from a stone and getting charged for every squeeze attempt, right? And it's hard not to want to trade, because we are driven to, especially men with their testosterone, and I'm no exception. the chase of the thrill. It's still my biggest temptation for almost 4 decades in now, 33 plus years of trading, is the desire for action, and I have to watch it and guard against it every day. Last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday, I did take a thrill-seeking trade. It's all there. I lost money on it. It's on YouTube. You can watch. I think it's called Thrill Trade, and I lost. I also tweeted it out to all my Twitter followers. I said, I just finished telling my Telegram group that my greatest temptation is to trade for thrills and for action. And then I went and did it 10 minutes later and lost. The whole trade was filmed, and it's on YouTube. You can go watch it. And you can hear me regretting getting into the trade the moment I did it. But I stayed with it on purpose. Instead of just jumping back out after realizing that, which is what I normally would do, by the way. I wanted it to play out so you could see what I was going through emotionally, so that you can all identify with that, but also recognize that the self-talk is so critically important. This is a mental game. The real game of trading is not technical analysis. The real game of trading is not news releases. It's not fundamentals. It's not the macro environment. The real game of trading is played between your ears. It's a game you play inside of your mind. It's a psychological game. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of traders that have been trading for only, a year or 6 months or even 6 years who don't believe that. And they fight against it. They say, no, it's about getting a system. It's about getting a model, or having a systematic or mechanical approach. And all of that's absolutely important. Those are table stakes. But having created that, and you can do that in a few weeks in the game, by the way. I can give you profitable systems. That's not a problem. It's the ability to trade them and to stick with your discipline is what the real game is. And you'll learn more about that here on our channel as you enjoy our expanding content over time. Come and join our Telegram group as well, and learn more about what I'm talking about. As you're really in trading at Telegram, we have a positive vibe. We only accept the positivity and encouragement and positive sharing. And so if that's you, we would like you in the group, and we welcome you with open arms. Come on by. Still 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the second candle here. On the 10-minute chart, you can see that there. Still very much in the middle of this range. Until we break out, I'm not interested. I will tell you that, lately on the opens, I haven't been taking many trades right on the opens, the first 2 or 3 candles, because there haven't been these range expansions that I like to look for. And so we've been taking trades later on in the session. And that's why it's important to be a member of the group, if you're interested, is to get those ideas ahead of time, and I send them out. And then I allow traders to adapt them to their own trading style. It's not a signal service. We don't send signals, but we share ideas, and I share my ideas, and traders take advantage of them. And then I film my trades from beginning to end, so you can see what I'm thinking ahead of time, why I'm entered, where I entered, how I managed it throughout the trade, and that's a very important piece. And you'll see a whole bunch of videos on the YouTube channel there of me managing my trades and moving stops and moving targets and things, and why I'm doing those things, by the way. Very, very important to understand the mental game behind that. And then learning from those things, right? Still in this range, looking like, oh, there we go. Now we finally got a breakout from here. But there's still no trade for me because there's no break of structure. This is now extended to the downside. And likely to move fairly freely through here. But now we were out of the open range. Things get more interesting for me. Still 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in this candle. Driving down nicely now. Sending this out to my group. So NASDAQ futures are now down 60 points, 59 points, 60 points this morning so far. This could be a very interesting and vulnerable day, given our range-boundedness yesterday. We got this drive up later in the afternoon, but this was a whole lot of mess, as I mentioned to you earlier, joking around yesterday with the group about how it's a barcoding day and sent out a graphic to that effect, but that's what we're dealing with sometimes lately. Just back to showing you the 1 minute chart along with the 10. And now price is back into that, just barely back into that range again, right? A little indecision happening here this morning. Just watching here, last 1 minute of this candle. All right, 22 seconds left. 22 seconds left here. Now, this is a little bit of a tricky situation because we're going to close. We're going to have that bottom wick that I like to see. But given the extension and the whippiness that we had during that latest move, I'm not sure I want to be entering here. Let's take a look. Bear with me for 1 minute. I'm just going to flip over to my own platform. I want to look at my charts as well. If we get an upper wick here, I may be interested. Essential to have an upper wick. Yeah, this could drive down without me. I'm okay with that. I'd want to see a bigger wick here before taking this. Although we already did have a nice little pullback on that close of that candle. Yeah. Yeah, not taking that. Not taking that at all. Nothing for me here yet. I'm going to bring back that 1 minute. We can watch this pullback. We get a nice pullback and tap that that 20 EMA. There might be something here for me, but not before. By the way, I reserve the right to change my mind here as we get more candles printing. If I see certain patterns on the 1 minute chart, you'll see this in my videos. I will make a very quick decision and take a trade. And that's trading. That's day trading. That's scalping. Is recognizing what the market is telling you at any given moment, any given point in time, right? New information feeding you. All right. Now, it's looking a bit more interesting for me. Watching closely, going over to my own platform. With you. All right, sell stop limit order. Sell stop limit. Not yet. If we get, I'm going to tell you what I'm looking at here. If we get a blue candle, a nice blue candle close on the 1 minute chart, I'd be setting a stop below the next blue candle. So, I'll be setting a stop below that blue candle to enter on the next blue candle. Ideally, it will be a blue candle. We don't know that for sure. 10 seconds left here. 10 seconds left. New candle now. Entering here. On a breakdown here. Bear with me. In now. Not yet. I'm sorry, not in yet. It's got to drop below. Oh, I got to drop below. And the move would be to the bottom of the... Here. By the way, on my platform, it's not in yet. I'm going to need to break down here. The price is always a little bit different from platform to platform, but you get the idea. And this would be, for that little move right there, this would be a micro scalp, if you will. Take us back down to the bottom. I'm in now. In now. Stop above the 20 EMA for about a 1-to-1. Stop to set above the current wick. Stop to break even. Stop to break even. Very, very high chance of being stopped out here, and that's fine. I'll do this all day long. Just waiting to tap that on the bottom. Just need that extra push. We're at break even now. Yeah, we're getting rejection here. This will likely be stopped out, but we'll see. It's just a transaction. Stop is at break even. Okay, we're done, guys. Just a quick one there. It's a nice quick 5.75 points. I'm just going to check my own platform here, see what my execution was. And I had 7 points actually, but no, we're going to record it as 6 and or so 5.75. Yeah, I had 7 points. I had 7 points on that. Okay. I must have got a slightly better entry. Anyway, that's the trade, guys. On that note, I'm thinking this is going to just range here for a little bit. We see we're almost, and we're actually back into the open range. But we were able to execute there a little bit of profit extraction from this kind of rangy, grinding type movement. We tend to exit very well at Zerilli, and we joke around about it because for some reason, I'm thinking it's just, 4 decades in the markets, or into my 4th decade now, 33 plus years. Got a pretty good feel for when to get out of movements, and I explained to you why here, the bottom of that body. I never take the exact bottom, but usually a quarter point or so inside of it, and that's exactly where things rejected. If you watch my videos, you'll see that over and over again. Our exits are relatively pretty good, and sometimes people will say, well, how do you possibly know that that's the bottom of the move? It's actually very difficult to explain, but you'll see. As a matter of fact, a lot of the videos you won't see it because I just end the video after the trade and then you're done. But if you go back into the charts and look at where we exited on many of those trades, I would even say most of those trades, it might even shock you. And it does to the group because they get to see it real time on my Telegram group. Prices then reacting from the exit point. And they don't quite understand it. And that has to do with looking, with feel that you develop. There is a feel in the market, folks. I hate to break it to you. It's not just mechanics. although the mechanical part can make you very, very wealthy. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Hope to see you again in New York. I'm sure we'll have other trades here in London, and I'll send those out to the Telegram group, or the ideas at the very least ahead of time. Come and join us. Cerulean Trading at Telegram. Love to have you if you're like-minded. If you have a positive attitude, positive vibe, love to share, love to learn. And we'll see you there. Take care, guys. Have an amazing day, and we will talk soon.